All right, so what is good? What is good? Here we are with Petra, one of my amazing squad members, and she's had an amazing experience so far, and she's ready to talk about it, and I'm ready for you all to hear about it. So go ahead, Petra, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let us know, what are your numbers like so far since coming to the program? What were they prior, and just kind of let the people hear about it. Go ahead.
So when I came to Hakeem, I was like doing a little bit of online and in-person training, and I think on like a really good month, I was making like maybe 400 a month. So not a lot. I wasn't able to pay bills with that at all. And then I started the program, 3-month program, started my sales the second month, and since then I've made about 13.4K the last month and a half, basically. So yeah, I'm actually able to make, those changes that I've wanted to for my life. And that's in the middle of a pandemic. So, it's kind of like,
Yeah.
like, if that wasn't going on, it's who's to say like what's possible. But yeah, it's definitely made a huge impact on, my business and what I've been able to do with my life. So yeah, that's been pretty awesome.
Perfect. That's crazy. So 13.4 in the past month and a half, which is amazing on that. And now you kind of touched on what you were doing prior. You were doing in-person training and things like that. Like, kind of break that down. You said, I think you were in school as well, or just
Yeah.
bouncing things. Like, what was going on there?
So I'm actually still in school. I'm finishing up my degree. So in the meantime, I was kind of, taking clients here and there that would kind of show up. I think I was charging like 150 for a meal plan and a training program with like 2 check-ins a week, like
Per month?
doing a lot of work for nothing. And then yeah, and I was doing in person as well. So basically, I was marketing all of that through my Instagram as well, but wasn't doing like any outreach, nothing. But yeah, so that's kind of where that was coming from. And yeah, so I was full time in school as well. So, but now, I've switched to part time in school. Obviously, there's a pandemic, so things are a little bit different now. But it's just kind of the adjustment. I kind of jumped into this right at the beginning of quarantine. Actually, like it was like the third week of quarantine. I was like, I want to start my business. And I've known you for like a while now. I want to say almost a year too. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get some help doing this, and you messaged me like a week later too, which was really funny. And yeah, so when we started, and here I am. Yeah.
There you go. Cool. Yeah. So your particular case, because when you first came on, you're really, I think you were shy just about like raising prices, about just putting yourself out there, just like marketing yourself. And I know a lot of people probably watching, they're not really sure how to market themselves, not really sure about their pricing or just how to put things together. So kind of walk people through like how I kind of gave you that confidence and helped you, with doing that. Cause I feel like that was your really big breakthrough with things.
Yeah, definitely. So in the beginning, first of all, like I think the last time I like talked on my story was probably like 2017. Like it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I just really didn't like talking on my story or anything. And it really just forced me to like get out of my comfort zone, with that initial series that I did and everything. I really was just like forced to take that extra step to like break out of my shell, my comfort zone, which I think I really needed to, because I was getting like, all right, well, I was just complacent, I guess, in what I was comfortable with. And it was really, really important for me to break out of that initially. And then, of course, getting on the sales calls, I was super nervous to do that. And I ended up doing it. And I remember like my first sale, I was so nervous to ask for like $1,000 for 3 months, and like super nervous. And like
Yeah.
they said yes, and I was like, what?
What?
And
Me?
now I'm like about to start, asking for like twice that.
Perfect.
So it definitely had my moments of being like nervous. But I think we had a conversation at one point, just about like my value and what my services are, and not asking less, I guess, just knowing what the value of what you bring to the table, and building the confidence, I guess, at the end of the day, because I was a newish coach when I came to you, and it was just kind of like knowing where I am at. Like I know it. You only have to be like, I think you said like 2 or 3 steps ahead of somebody to help somebody, and that really stuck with me. So it really helped me like feel more confident in like my ability to coach. Because that's what I was definitely, when I think on our interview call, I was definitely talking about like I was just nervous about my ability to help people. And now that I'm helping people and I'm seeing those results, like it's like, okay, I do know what I'm doing. Like
Yeah. Perfect. And we kind of show you the systems or processes to actually coach your clients in the best way. Like once
Yeah.
you onboard, hey, here's what you do here, here's what you do here. So that's good there. Cool. So yeah, so you have this transformation, you have this change for yourself. Now, the big thing that I love when people come to me is like the lifestyle changes of just like, okay, like what did this actually do for you? Like yeah, great, you're making income, awesome. I think you made a post one time, I think like about your dog or something like that. So kind of touch on just like the lifestyle changes of just like the time, maybe even things like time, because you were doing in-person training and some online, just juggling a lot of stuff. Just talk about like the time shift you've had, as well as just like the freedom to be able to do things much more than before. Break it down.
Yeah, so I think the moment that I really realized this, like okay, this is working. Obviously like having sales was exciting, but I wasn't really like keeping track of like I had an idea of how much I was making, but it wasn't really like sticking. And then I recently just got a puppy, and he hurt himself, and we had to take him to like the vet ER. So like that was expensive.
Yeah.
Um and like we got the bill back, and I was like, I could pay for this.
Yeah.
Like, and like before there was no way that would have been able to happen. Like I don't even know what I would have began to do in that situation before. So I was able to give him the medical treatment that he needed, and he's like good now. That's super exciting. I'm actually going to look at a new apartment today. I know on our interview call I
What?
talked about I wanted to move and move into a nicer place, and I'm going today to look at it. So
Oh, that's awesome. That's good
that's
news.
exciting. I'm really happy about that. It's just basically giving me, the opportunity to really like kind of relax. Because I guess before I was like where I was financially was not, I was in debt. I owed people money. And now I'm like able to pay that back. I'm able to actually like go out of my way to help other people now. Um, and of course, provide for, my family and all of that. So it's just a blessing to be able to, do better for myself and the people that I care about as well. So, and not having
Definitely.
to worry about it. Like, all right, yeah, I gave you like 500, and now I'm like, I need that back now. Like, it's like, get
It's
it back
all
to
good.
me when you can. So
Yeah.
that feels really good, definitely. But yeah,
Perfect.
before I was not in that position at all. I think there was a point, like, I think it was like a month before, we started working together. Actually, shit hit the fan, and I had called my brother like, all right, I just need $100, just like I need help, like, and I like felt horrible about it, and I was talking to him this morning. Actually, this is funny. But yeah, like I was just talking to him, and he's like, so like, how are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm making money, like I can pay you back, like all of this. And he's like, oh shit, what?
Yeah.
Like
What?
turned
What?
it around, and I was like, yeah, like I just put the time in. That was really, really what I needed to do, because I think I had like the drive to do it. I just didn't know the direction, and your program really broke it down like step by step, and like each like what how you should be feeling about each step. And then of course the group, like I think there was like a week where like I got like hung up on a sales call, and like I was like not making sales. I was having a hard time finding leads, and like
Yeah.
I was like really, really out of it. And then I like went in the group, and like people were like, I have like a like 16th of the followers that you do. I have like zero engagement, and I just like made 10,000 in sales. I was like, all right, I got this. Like I can't
Yeah.
complain. But it was just like kind of like realizing what's possible. I think you said it on like one of our lives at one point recently. Just like people are doing more with less, so like why can't you? And I think that was something that really helped me break out of like when you get into a slump. It's like you might have a bad day, you might have a bad week or a bad month, or shit, even a bad year. But about like growing a business, it takes time, it takes energy, it takes like you're putting yourself into that, so you can't expect it to happen overnight. Even though
Exactly.
this definitely feels like it was fast,
Yeah.
like I can't, this is just the beginning.
Perfect. Definitely. No, I'm super appreciative to just have you inside the squad with everything. So that these are things that I love to hear. Like, when you're like, it's like, yeah, your finances are good. You're getting to this new place. Like, I remember my biggest ultimate thing when I was trying to build a business, and get it going years back. I was still at home, had all the debt, was just moving out. I was like, I want a better place. I want my own spot. I wasn't able to do that until I actually built the business properly.
Yeah.
And a lot of people want to do that. But yeah, so it's interesting though, because I always tell them there's two kinds of people in this world. There are people who are delayers that, they know they need to take action on their life, and, they're putting off and saying, oh, I'm doing try it on my own. I'm going to save money and all this. or there's the deciders who know that, okay, yes, like they're going to make an investment in themselves, but they don't even know how, but they're going to figure it out. And for you, like you were talking about how like the financial situations you're in probably wasn't the best, but you still figured out and you decided to join the program. So go back to just like overall, what made you decide to make that investment in yourself, even when you're in that low space financially? Because I know some people may be watching this that are really unsure about their finances and things like that. And like, boom, it paid off for you. And you see, like, we have tons of people being successful with it. But kind of talk about that really quick if you could.
Yeah, so actually when I came to you, I had like no money. And like I definitely was like I was like hoping like okay, like maybe I can, make something work. Like I think the original like drive to do that was just really that like I just needed something, I didn't know what to do. I've seen what you've done with people that I know. I've seen, I've worked on your videos that you've given us for free. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And, and as well as just the fact that I was so ready to start and I just had absolutely no idea where to go. There's just so many things like, do I build a website? Do I, how do I price this so that I'm not working with like 500 people? Cause there's no way I can give that, myself to 500 people, like, and, be able to make the money that I want to make and still be able to help these people. And just all of that. So, I think I had like, I got my stimulus check and I was like, Hakeem, let's go. I didn't have everything. I think we got on a payment program, and within the first month I was able to pay off the rest of it, with the sales that I made that you helped me make. So all of that was just like, I just took a leap of faith at the end of the day. I just trusted that, this is something that I wanted, that I was ready to work for. And it was definitely motivating. Like, all right, well, if you fall through, like, you're kind of screwed. So you better work. Like,
Yeah.
you owe somebody money. So,
Yeah.
but there was that aspect as well. But, it was easy. Like, I think I made that back within like the first, like, less than a month. It was like my first 4 days of doing sales, and I was like, all right, I got it. Like, I can pay it all to you. And that felt really good, definitely, to be able to like put into myself like that, because it wasn't like, oh, I can't, like, and there's definitely like that feeling when, when your money's not good and life's, not where you want it to be. But it was just kind of about taking that extra step to like, all right, where I want to go isn't what I'm doing now. So like, what do I need to do to get there?
Yeah.
And you had the tools for that. And it was just kind of like, it was really a no-brainer. It was like, all right, I don't have that money right now, but I'm going to get it. And just like knowing I'm going to get it. And yeah, that was it.
Yeah. That's
No-brainer.
just deciding. And I love that. I love that. And that's what it takes. Successful people, tell people all the time, successful people will use their money to save them their time versus the unsuccessful people who will, try to use their time to save them money. And like, there's probably people that are going to watch this video who've been trying it for so long. They've been looking up how to do this, how to do here, their free information here and that. And they're just really scared about that investment. But like, I try to tell people all the time, like, hey, like, you get in, we're gonna get you that back, easily, So
Yeah.
So
yeah, I remember watching, I think it was one of the videos that you made us watch. And like someone was like, yeah, like I paid all of it off, and I started paying off like my credit within like the first month, and I was like, there's no way.
That's what's up.
And then I did it, and I was like, oh, like wait, I totally just did that. Like looking back, like I didn't even realize it in the moment either. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, it's here. All right, I'll put it there. I put my money where I need to put it. And then now like looking back, like, oh, I just did that. Like,
yeah, perfect. No, that's awesome. Perfect. So no, I appreciate you for sharing with everything. And what do you have any last or final words for somebody who may be in your old position, really kind of on the fence, kind of contemplating things, or just knowing they need to change, but they're not really like too sure. Maybe they're skeptical, or they're just like not too sure about this Hakeem guy. Like, who is he?
Yeah.
Would you say anything to that person or to those individuals that may be watching and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. So I think my biggest thing would be to grow, you have to be uncomfortable. So get uncomfortable being uncomfortable. You're not going to reach that next level or even be able to, like, I started my business with Hakeem. So, I had, a little bit of here and there, but I didn't have like a program. I didn't have a system. And obviously you're always improving systems, but the clarity and everything is worth it. And you have to get uncomfortable to get there. So whether that's, your finances, like you're just going on a leap of faith, like, you know, you don't have that money in your bank account, but you want it there. So you got to trust that you're going to work for it, you know, whether it's, you know, getting on a sales call with somebody who you don't know if you can close, you know, it's taking that leap of faith. It's getting the practice in. It's, you know, trusting that you're going to learn something, whether you get something from it or not, you know, whether, you know, you completely flop. It's okay because you're learning something,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know, going towards your business at the end of the day. So whether it's a win or a loss, you know, you're still getting something from it. And the more you trust yourself, you know, whether it's writing somebody a program or, you know, knowing that you're gonna be able to pay that back, the easier it gets over time.
That's huge. That's huge. That's huge. Awesome. So I appreciate you for that. And I just want to commend you. Like your just like speaking skills have definitely improved. Your like presentation. Because honestly, when I first met you, like you would get on video, like this would be you in front of your.
I feel like my forehead, like
Hey guys, today we're gonna. I'm like, what? Like, get some energy and like, come on, let's do it.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I
but
was definitely really shy. I'm already like still like a little shy, but like easier now. Like I can like okay,
yeah,
it's fine. No one's gonna get mad
totally.
at me. Like,
Awesome. Now that's a lot of growth that I've seen you, you know, go through so far. So that's that. So thank you so much for being here. So this is Petra, one of our amazing squad members. And for you who was watching, we probably have a call coming up with one of my team members, or there's a link somewhere around this. You know, feel free, go ahead, do your thing, click on it, or you know, get into that mindset of success. Okay, so we want to see you inside the squad. If you're a proper fit, then great. You know, we want to see you have success like Petra over here. Okay, so things can literally change for you in a matter of like what, a month and a half.
yeah,
You know, crazy. So that's that. So appreciate you, and for those of you watching, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you soon.